I need advice. I told my twin sister that I was pregnant for the first time and I am 13 weeks along. At first, she said congratulations and that it was exciting news. The next day, she sent me a giant text saying that I haven't been communicating with her, that if I don't want to see her or want space, I can just say so, and that she feels really unimportant and hurt. I replied that she is still very important to me. I'm sorry she is hurt, but she is a big part of my life and nothing will change that. I assumed she was feeling insecure or threatened. She then sent me another long, angry message about how I don't communicate, that I apparently don't want to see her or visit, that I'm choosing not to tolerate her or include her, and that she can't do anything unless I change how I behave. A few things for context. We live in different states. Our mother left us when we were 14. Our parents had us when they were 20 years old, and my dad was not around much. She has a heightened sense of rejection and a huge fear of abandonment, along with some really unhealthy patterns. She has been festering on this and warped all these events, weaving them together to create a story about how I am horrible and haven't been treating her properly. She complained that she attended my wedding and helped my now husband pick out a ring, and that this is how I'm treating her. It makes zero sense. She is saying I am excluding her, but she is literally complaining about times she has been included. We have been communicating, probably less than usual because I usually am responsible for initiating most of our contact, and I have been less proactive lately because I have been dealing with my own feelings. I don't know what to do. I want to shut this down because these back and forth messages are hurtful and only feed her pattern. I truly feel there is nothing I can say to make her feel better, and I just have to let her process this and ride it out. It's really hurtful to me though. I have done nothing wrong in my own opinion, and she said it has nothing to do with the pregnancy, yet she blew up the day after I told her. She is being so irrational and unreasonable from my perspective, and it hurts that this is how she has chosen to react. I'm so sick of her treating me like garbage when she wants to, and I'm tired of having to be the parent in this relationship. She has not once voiced concerns about the frequency of my communication with her over the last month or so, or asked if anything is going on, or commented that I seem quiet, etc. I don't know what to do here. I feel like I can't win, and she just wants to be angry and view me like this. Does anyone have any suggestions for what I can say, or has anyone been through something similar with a sibling or relative? Also to add, I found out I was pregnant at 8 weeks. I had a really stressful month prior because my mother-in-law passed away unexpectedly, and it was just really hard on my husband, who loved her very much. So the timing of the news was hard to process. My sister knew about my mother-in-law. I think I knew deep down she wasn't going to just be happy for me, and I needed to process my own feelings and circumstances before I dealt with hers. Just to clarify in response to a few comments, this is not the first time she has blown up, and it's not just me. She has this pattern with me and with anyone she is in a relationship with. It was really bad with her last partner for 7 years, and during every visit I made to her, there have been similar incidents with her current boyfriend. For example, her boyfriend said their mutual friend has a date with someone, and she asked who, and he said this cute girl from rock climbing, and she lost it. She was so angry and said if he prefers girls from rock climbing, then he should be with them, etc. It made no sense. They had the fight in the Uber, and I was unfortunately in the middle seat between them. This is one small example, but I could see from her boyfriend's response that her patterns have continued. To be clear, I love my sister. When she broke up with her boyfriend of 7 years, we saw each other about 8 times that year because I knew she needed the support. She stayed with me and my husband for several long weekends and holidays, and I always made sure we were spending tons of one-on-one time together and doing things she enjoyed. I knew that she was not going to have a normal response to my pregnancy, and I'm sad she is reacting in a way that is stressing me out so much. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. She is saying I am excluding her but literally complaining about times she has been included. We have been communicating, probably less than usual, because I usually am responsible for initiating most of our contact, and I have been less proactive lately because I have been dealing with my own feelings. I think it's time to confront her about this. You say I don't communicate and exclude you, but I'm the one who makes the phone calls for us to talk. I'm the one initiating contact. If you want more contact and communication, then you need to do your part and call me instead of waiting for me to call you. If she keeps arguing, tell her you're done with the conversation and it's time to change the subject. If she can't do that right now, then you'll be getting off the phone and she can call you when she's ready to talk about something else. Put the ball in her court. If she wants things to change, she needs to do the work. Comment 2. As a twin myself, with many twin friends, I've seen similar reactions in twin dynamics, and even with close female siblings. And that's all I have to say because I've always been friends with the adult behaving twin or sister, such as yourself. I've never seen any of them be able to do anything to change the irrationality of their sisters, despite having seen them try different tactics. In the end, the whining, ungrounded person is the only one who can alter their own behavior. Please update us. Twin dynamics are hard. Wishing you the best. Congratulations on your pregnancy. Now, for the update. 2 weeks after that mess of a fight with my sister, I was at home organizing baby clothes when I got a call from her. I was just chilling, listening to music, trying to get everything in order for the little one. And then out of nowhere, I get this call. The second I pick up, her tone was like super accusatory, going on about how our last conversation made her feel dismissed. I was just like, are you serious right now? Like, can a pregnant woman catch a break? So I told her I was busy getting ready for the baby and suggested we do a video call to talk things through. Figured it'd be better to see her face and get this sorted out, right? So we get on this video call and she starts bringing up all these past family events where she felt sidelined. It was like a trip down memory lane and not the fun kind. She even mentioned this specific family dinner from last Thanksgiving, saying she felt ignored at the table. I'm thinking, yeah, we all felt a little ignored because that turkey was taking forever to cook. Seriously, she was yelling at me, saying I seemed more focused on my new life than our bond. I tried to explain that everyone was just busy with the holiday and that it wasn't like she was being intentionally neglected. But she was having none of it. She shouted that I seemed to prioritize my new life over our bond. I tried to reason with her, but it was like talking to a brick wall. The argument just escalated from there, and then she decided to hang up on me. Like, really? That's how we're doing this now? After she hung up, I was left sitting there, staring at my phone, feeling so confused and hurt. I thought about our relationship and how she had always been there for me during big moments like my wedding. But now it felt like no matter what I did, it was never enough. I decided to reach out to our parents for support, just mentioning the recent conflict. I was really hoping they could help us figure this mess out because I was just so tired of it. Our parents invited both of us for a family dinner to discuss everything. When I got there, I could tell the atmosphere was just so tense. We arrived at different times, and when I walked in, I noticed her body language right away. She was standing there with her arms crossed and this frown on her face like she was ready for battle. Our parents tried to lighten the mood by talking about this upcoming family vacation, but she just interrupted. She pointed out how I hadn't invited her to any of the baby-related events, and it felt like all the progress we had made was just slipping away. She accused me of being too focused on my new family and neglecting our relationship. Our mom tried to mediate, suggesting that we each share our feelings, but it felt so forced. There was this awkward pause at the table when her silence just hung in the air. Then our dad proposed a family outing to help us reconnect. He suggested a trip to a nearby amusement park, and I was just like, ugh, do we really have to? I hesitated because I was worried she might make it all about her feelings again. But after some thought, she agreed, saying it could be a fresh start. We scheduled the family trip for the following weekend, and everyone was expected to participate, whether they liked it or not. The week leading up to the trip, I was just trying to stay positive and prepare. I was also really focused on getting the nursery done because the clock was ticking to get everything ready before the baby arrived. On the day of the trip, My sister arrived late, flustered and all apologetic. I helped her load the car, keeping the mood light and just trying to get through the day without any drama. The amusement park was crazy crowded. We were all trying to stay together as a family, but it was like herding cats. And you know how that goes, right? While we were waiting in line for a ride, she pulled me aside. She admitted that she felt pressure to be part of my new life, and we reached this understanding about our changing dynamics. It was like a mini breakthrough, and we agreed to communicate more openly. Yeah, the family dynamic has shifted for sure, but it felt like we were on a path toward improvement. I'm just hoping it stays like this because I don't know how much more of this I can take while dealing with all the other stuff going on in my life. Mini update. After the trip to the amusement park, my sister and I agreed to resolve our issues through regular video calls. We now schedule these talks every few weeks, maintaining a balance between her feelings and my new family life. It's been challenging, but we're both committed to making it work. Am I the idiot for choosing my dream internship over my jealous boyfriend's insecurities? I'm a 21-year-old female college student, and my 20-year-old boyfriend is from a different college. I recently got hired to do my dream job, which is a marketing internship I've been talking to him about since high school. I've had my eye on this job for so long. It's mostly work from home and going on site once a week. My unemployed boyfriend is mad that I'll work some nights because you don't need a job while in college, and I really don't want to leave this opportunity just because he isn't comfortable with it. He also mentioned that because I have male coworkers, he doesn't trust them. I don't have any history of cheating on him, but he cheated on me once, and I took him back because we're childhood friends and we've been together for so long. Is there any way I can convince him to let me take this job peacefully? Additional info. I go to the top university of my country on a scholarship, and I also research for the government on the side. But he's okay with it because it's a work-from-home thing and doesn't need to work on site. Note, I'm taking the internship no matter what. The argument part is paused because he's blocked me on everything. Thank you all for the advice. I don't really have anyone to talk to about this with because my friends and family don't like him either, so I'm thankful for everyone giving their 2 cents. I can't reply to everyone because I have a fever right now, but I'm definitely reading all your insights. I've been with him since I was 12 and in a relationship when I was 16. I've been here for so long, I didn't realize how absurd it was from other people's perspectives. Now for an update. Hey everyone, it's been a really tough day. Last night he unblocked me, then called me to call it off. He said that I don't respect the relationship, and if what he says doesn't matter, then what is the point of being partners? I didn't really have the opportunity to say anything much because he was set on ending it last night. I no longer got to discuss any compromises or anything else because he already decided for us. I'm actually glad because I didn't think I had the courage to end it yet if it was up to me, so it's good that he was already set on it. Thank you all for your inputs and insights, and I promise I read them all. As for the messages, thank you. I'll try to reply to them as well. I don't think he'll do anything more because he's blocked me again and changed his profile picture and other details on social media, which is funny because I never post on social media because it always causes an argument. As for me, I also applied for this Harvard conference that I hope I get invited to. I'll continue with my extracurriculars and not let this discourage me. Thank you all for being my Reddit friends because I don't trust my friends as much anymore. And thank you for opening my eyes. I wish the best for your relationships and hope you can learn from my experience as well. Though I'm no role model, I'm scared but excited for this new chapter of my life. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Girl, please read the post to yourself. You putting up with all this is your red flag. My goodness. I hope you can learn to respect the relationship with yourself before someone else. Let you? I'm sorry. Does this guy finance your life? What else does he control about you? Do you ask him if it's okay to use the bathroom in your house too? You don't need him. Stop making decisions with him in mind. He better start being okay with you on this internship or get over it. and you need to respect yourself more. Comment 2. You're an adult. You don't need permission from anyone. People will come and go in your life, so do not damage your life for people. Do not turn down great opportunities for yourself because some unemployed cheater who is trying to isolate and control your life doesn't like it. He needs to be your ex-boyfriend immediately before he ruins your life in permanent ways. Now, for the update. I started my remote internship a week after the breakup. Honestly, it felt good. My first day included a virtual meeting with my team, and they're all so supportive. It was such a relief. Everyone was welcoming, and I could tell I was in a much better place now. I was assigned a project that required me to collaborate with this male coworker named Alex. I know, I can hear the collective gasps from the crowd, but for real, Alex was super professional and straightforward, making it so easy for us to just get the work done. No weirdness, no drama, just work. I even mentioned to my mom that I was collaborating with Alex. She seemed relieved I was doing okay. Honestly, I think she was worried that I might have a meltdown or something. So I went to this welcome lunch with my team at a local restaurant, and everyone was friendly. Like, genuinely friendly. Not the fake kind you get from people who are just waiting for you to mess up so they can talk about you behind your back. So, during lunch, I overheard these two coworkers joking about their weekend plans, which involved a bar that my ex used to go to. This kind of stuff happens all the time, so I wasn't really fazed. A few days later, I received a message from my ex's sister, who I'd stayed in touch with. She asked how I was doing. I replied that I was adjusting well and focusing on my internship. She then mentioned that my ex was still upset and struggling with the breakup. I just decided to ignore his drama and keep it moving. Like, I have my own life to deal with, you know? Then I got this email about the Harvard conference, and guess what? My application was accepted. Huge boost for me. My roommate threw a small celebration at our apartment for my acceptance and invited a few close friends. During the celebration, one of my friends brought up my ex, asking if I had heard from him. I just shrugged it off, not wanting to dwell on him during my moment of success. My presentation for the Harvard conference was coming up, and I was putting in a ton of effort. Like, I wanted to nail this. Then my ex's sister texted me again, saying her brother was trying to reach out, but I wasn't responding. I told her I appreciated her concern, but wanted to focus on my career. A week later, I received a text from my ex asking if we could talk in person. I debated whether to meet him, but decided against it, considering everything he put me through. I mean, why should I? So a family dinner was planned for my mom's birthday, and I was excited to share my news. At the dinner, my dad asked about my internship, and I shared my progress with everyone. My sister Kate brought up her recent breakup, and I noticed my ex's sister texting me during dinner. I ignored the message and continued talking about my project. After dinner, my phone buzzed again, this time from my ex, insisting on meeting soon. I left the dinner to step outside and finally replied that I wasn't interested in discussing anything further. He responded angrily, saying I was pretending to be someone I wasn't. A few days later, I received an unexpected package at my apartment. Inside was a framed photo of us from a trip we took together, sent by my ex's sister. I decided to return the photo to her with a note saying that I needed to move on. I continued preparing for the Harvard conference, focusing on my presentation. A few days before the conference, I found out that Alex would be attending as well. Just as I was getting ready to present, I heard my ex had shown up at the conference venue. "Are you serious?" I spotted him in the back of the room while I was speaking, and yeah, it threw me off momentarily. But you know what? I finished my presentation despite the distraction, and I earned applause from my colleagues. Afterward, my ex approached me, demanding to know why I wouldn't talk to him. I told him I was busy and he needed to respect my space. He left angrily, claiming he would always be part of my life until I realized it. Like, what even was that? I'm just trying to live my best life, and here he is, lurking in the background like a bad memory. Edit. My ex's sister later texted me again, expressing her disappointment in me for returning the photo, saying it was a gift. I reiterated my need to move on and that we should reduce contact. She agreed but expressed her desire to stay in touch. We met for coffee, and she told me that my ex had been struggling with the breakup and was seeking therapy. I admired his commitment to self-improvement, but was eager to move forward. I assured her that I had no plans to interfere with his progress and wouldn't be in his vicinity. We agreed to keep our friendship alive. Am I the idiot for wanting my dad in the delivery room despite my husband's alpha male tantrum? I, a 30-year-old female, have been married to my husband, a 31-year-old male, for a year, but we dated for 9 years before getting married. The conversation we had kind of raised a red flag for me, but I also know there is some trauma around this topic for me, so I want some outside perspective. We have started to talk about having kids. I was talking about how funny it would be to see how my mom reacts during delivery compared to my dad. My husband, without missing a beat, said, "I will not have another man in the delivery room." This is super weird because he has never said anything that strange and territorial. We laugh at the alpha male guys in videos together. He has acknowledged that he does not know why he reacted like that, but still really doesn't want my dad there. This is important to me because my family has a bad baby delivery history, usually due to bad midwives. My mother almost died giving birth to me because the midwife pulled the placenta out, causing internal bleeding, as she also didn't check it was complete. My sister had a lot of issues also caused by her midwife. My sister is one of the strongest people I know with a very high pain tolerance. I will never forget how she sounded when she called our mom. My cousin is an only child because my aunt also had issues caused by a midwife. This has me concerned for my own future births. I want my husband as my birth partner, but want at least one other family member in at a time to advocate as needed. I understand that my family dynamic is a bit different. We don't really do traditional gender roles. My dad was closer to home than my mom growing up. He cooked special meals using cast iron pans when the women in our family were on their period and made sure our hot water bottles got swapped out before they got cold. He magically made our favorite snacks appear, etc. Is it strange that I want my father included in my delivery room support team? Any ideas what could be triggering my husband or perspectives I may be missing from someone who understands his point? Now for an update. Wow, this got a lot more attention than I was expecting. I will give a husband update first, then talk about the direction of the comments. I spoke to my husband. He didn't want to deep dive into the why at first. He said it is my choice at the end of the day, but he isn't happy. I insisted on understanding why, and I asked if it is because I would be exposed. He said, and I quote, "What? Why would I care about that? The man changed your diapers." He was worried about not being the primary person after I made decisions and helped to look after me if my dad is there. I explained the dynamic and that the role other family members play is to make sure we have backup if needed, and that when the baby comes, we have people we trust with me and the baby. We are good now, but are talking about how to improve communication for gut reactions. Comments. I will say that from the comments, this might be a family dynamic thing. I hadn't really thought about being exposed in front of my dad because I can't imagine my dad ever sexualizing me. It just isn't something that he would or could ever do. So it's not on my radar like that. I know everyone's family is different, and some families have stricter gender roles for what is and isn't okay, but I think that's just a family by family choice. Also, when I think of family members in the room, they are in a support role regardless of gender. I don't think any family member is going to be deliberately looking down there. Thank you everyone for your comments. I know some people thought I was strange, but I appreciate those comments too, as they help broaden my thoughts on what the problem could be. Also, thanks to everyone who reminded me that it is my choice. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You need to ask your husband specifically why another man can't be in the delivery room. Really make him answer. And if he alludes to you being in a state of undress, you need to literally ask your husband if he believes your father will sexualize the birth of his grandchild, because that is the only thing your husband could be thinking, messed up as it is. If he truly believes that, you have a huge problem on your hands. But you deserve to know if the person you plan to raise your child with is truly that twisted. Ask him what the issue is, and do not let him deflect. Make him say it. Comment 2. He has acknowledged that he does not understand the reaction himself, but he sure thinks it is wrong for another man to be in the room. He says that because he doesn't want to admit that he can't bear the thought of another man seeing your privates, even your father. And yes, it is weird. And yes, he knows it's way out of bounds. That's why he won't admit to it. Now, for the update. It's been a month since I last posted about my husband and me trying to figure out our birth plan for our little one. Things were going pretty well. We hadn't really talked about it in detail since our last discussion, where he wasn't too happy about my dad being in the delivery room, which I totally get. For some background, my family has had some pretty rough experiences with childbirth in the past, and we just want to be super careful and have all the support we can get. Anyway, my dad came over for dinner the other night, all excited about his upcoming retirement party. He's been counting down the days and just can't wait to chill. My husband was there too, but he seemed kind of distracted throughout dinner. Only half listening to my dad go on about all the fun things he wants to do once he retires. After dinner, my dad casually mentioned wanting to help with the birth process, like he was considering being in the delivery room to help support me. My husband just kind of freaked out and said he didn't want my dad around during delivery. The room got super awkward, and my dad looked taken aback. I tried to change the topic and get us back on track by talking about my dad's retirement plans. My husband seemed more upset about the whole thing, though. He said he needed some air and left the room. I followed him outside, and he was just pacing on the porch. My husband said he was frustrated that my dad was trying to overstep and not respecting boundaries. I reminded him that my dad is just trying to support us, especially given my family history with childbirth. We agreed to discuss it further in a calmer setting later on. The next weekend, we went to my sister's baby shower together. She's having her first baby in a few months, so we were all excited to celebrate her. During the shower, my sister shared her birth plan, which included her partner and their families. My husband seemed to be taking notes and processing everything she was saying. After the shower, my sister pulled me aside and asked if everything was okay. I explained the ongoing discussion about the delivery room and how my husband wasn't too happy about my dad being in there. She offered to help talk it out with my husband to ease tensions and figure out a compromise. I mentioned her idea to my husband, and he reluctantly agreed to a chat with her. A few days later, my sister invited us over for a dinner discussion. My husband and my dad were both present, which added to the awkwardness. My sister led the conversation, asking everyone about their roles in the birth process. My dad explained his desire to help without taking away my husband's role. My husband listened, but stayed defensive about his position. Then my dad suggested a compromise. He could be there, but he would stay in the background and not be super involved unless needed. My husband considered this and seemed to relax a bit. We ended the dinner with a tentative agreement on the delivery plan. A week later, we had our first prenatal appointment together. My husband took the lead in asking questions about the delivery process, which was pretty cool. The doctor talked about the importance of having a good support system and how it can really help during delivery. After the appointment, my dad called to check in and asked how everything was going. I shared the update about our conversation and the appointment. My dad expressed his understanding and support and said he was happy we were trying to figure things out. The tension around the birth plan seems to have eased significantly, which is a relief. Things are still complicated, though. My husband and I still have a lot to discuss and figure out, especially since the baby is coming soon. I can't deny that the whole thing stressed me out a bit, but I'm really glad my dad and sister were there to help us sort it out. My dad is just really excited about being a grandpa, and I know he's coming from a good place. Anyway, I'll make sure to post an update if anything big happens. Edit: my husband and I have been attending prenatal classes together, and it's been a great way for us to bond and learn more about the birthing process. We've also started discussing parenting styles and values, which has been eye-opening for both of us. Our communication has improved significantly since resolving the delivery room issue. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.